Alright, guys, I'm not really gonna get too much into the Warner Media and Discovery merger thing. I'm not even gonna do that because that's not what you come here for. It's more about DC Comics and DC films in general. So if you know, ATT is merging Warner Media, HBO Max with Discovery Inc. Let's be realistic. ATT went into this thinking one thing and came out thinking something else. They fucked up on many levels by not having HBO Max on the Fire Stick. They fucked up on many levels not having HBO Max on a lot of platforms. Like I'm not in the business. I'm not into the entertainment business. I'm not into the social media business. But I know having that on the Fire Stick was a must. Having that not on the Fire Stick was just a disaster, and it's apparent. Um, so to short this thing up, because I'm not really gonna get too much invested into this whole merger crap thing because it is what it is. But Discovery Inc. is paying 45 billion. You hear me again, $1 billion for Warner Media. So you're saying to yourself, okay, so 45 billion. They still needs to pay off close to 85 billion dollars because really they paid 85 billion for Time Warner. So that's maybe half of what they paid for. And let's not even include AT&T's debt they got. So let's talk about DC though. What's going to happen to DC? I'm going to read you a little bit of from this article and then I'll give you what I think. Um and it's not looking too good for DC Comics. Now their film division I think is going to be a little bit different, but we'll see. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, yes, this is by Bleeding Cool, so sometimes Bleeding Cool could be right and accurate. This is just an article. Basically, it comes down to ATT spending $85 billion. I think I already said that. Warner Brothers and its DC Universe app turned the broadcast merging. So, okay, all right. Like I said, the CEO Discovery David Zasloff sound like one of those villains from a Bond movie. He will be taking over from Jason Keeloff's job. So honestly, it's more of kicking out the new school, bringing back old school because maybe old school can bring us some type of revenue that we didn't get with new school. That's pretty much what's going on here. Let me see if they go into DC a little bit. So they really didn't do shit about this article. All right. So here's my take on it. If I can find an article, I'll go an article better. But here's my take on what's going to happen with DC Comics. Um, DC Comics will revert back to some of their titles. So Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman and Aquaman will all be fine with getting comics. You will constantly get those with comics. But your Blue Beetle, your Booster Golds, your Justice League Internationals, all those other comics that y'all grown to love and get, they will be gone. Marvel, if you notice, have scaled back with some of their stuff. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, all those will be fine because they still household name because of what 20th Century Fox did. Good or bad, they have made movies with them that made these characters household names. X-Men is still arguably next to Spider-Man, one of the most household name comics out there. Fantastic Four, not so much, but X-Men and Spider-Man, good. DC, on the other hand, a lot of their characters they will not be using. Justice League will get titles. Batman will get a title always. Superman will always get a title. And Wonder Woman. Now the problem is it going to be weekly or is it going to be monthly? And the way things are going, it's going to be monthly because again, DC will be eradicating very soon. Now this is in the comic division. The comic division will constantly be changing because more layoffs, more cutoffs, which means it's just bad. Now if y'all want to be inspired comic book writer, I hate to say it, y'all better might want to hit that call that number of Japan and hit some manga sales because manga is where it's at right now because the comic industry is dying here in the States. Digitally and physically. More so digitally. Um and it's sad because these type of things you really, really want to see. In their film division, now here's one from Hollywood Reporter. and we'll talk about this one for a minute. Um, it's how DC has weathered corporate change before, and let me see. So let's see. DC has been part of the large Warner corporate structure for almost 4 decades. By this point, a fact that has time led to criticisms. Remember when Marvel, then publisher Bill James went through a period called AEO Comics and Brooks harassment or returns. What might come to surprise, however, is that DC Warner Bros. Really became. They go to history. Let's go past that. So, according to the publishers, they merge. We'll go ahead at Warner Bros. Events. So ATT merged with DC Value. So yeah, anyway, they talk about how it's changed before, but I think the comic industry for DC will be going away. I think DC Comics as a whole will be changing, and we won't be getting a lot of these corporate things. So, okay, so HBO Max, Shark Week, or just 100 Brands. This okay, you know what? Let's talk about their DC properties. All right. Well, see, I can't really find something for DC right about now. So, like I said, I'm gonna give you my. I already gave you what my thing was. Comics. Let's give you the film division right now. The film division will be changed drastically again too. Walter Naba and Snaroff or Snackoff, whatever her name is, might want to look for new jobs. If Walter Hanada, well, see, DC Walter Hanada is in a weird thing. He might be fine, but Ann may not because with Zach, well, not Zach, but with David, the new CEO of the CEO of Discovery, he might want to get rid of her anyway, which I think they should because she's not really good for, she's not fit for the job. I don't think she is. Um, and I think it's time to get rid of some of these people because I'll be quite honest with you. I have not liked Warner Brothers for the last several years. The management they have done, what they've done with Cartoon Network, this new acquisition, if canceling Infinity Train was a big no for Cartoon Network. But I don't, like I said, I don't really want to talk about that. But this is another prime example. I don't know. Right now, the future of DC looks pretty bleak. Hopefully, I get more stuff coming out of it. I'm calling around, see what I know and see if I know my source telling me more stuff about this. But it ain't looking too good for DC. For the Cartoon Network side of things, um, I got a video plan for that one. But as always, guys, like, subscribe, peace out, Johnson Dad. See you guys in the next video.